Okay. Hi, everybody. We're finally here.
We did not take an hour to set up.
This is how we learn. Welcome
to
the Energy
and Heart
podcast,
hosted by
Jiggy
and Steph.
We should say each other's names next time.
We're okay.
Pretty gay. Name is also pending. We're just giving this a shot because it's been over a year.
Dude, it's been a year.
Since we talked about finally doing a podcast. And we said that, once this hump of life is over, we'll finally do it. But then life did its life thing and kept serving us different shit. And we kept pushing it, but now we're here and that's all that matters.
We decided it was time regardless
of
how hard it was.
Honest temperature check. We attempted recording this before and realized that the audio was fucked up. And so now I'm tired.
I know, me too.
I feel like I spent all that energy trying to figure this shit out, that it's been an hour has passed. And
we're doing it.
I'm trying to regain my passion and interest for this thing again, but it's okay. It's all good. I'm excited to be here, finally get this done, and then excited for the next episode and the next episode.
Yes. So the intention of this podcast.
Come on, intention.
We always set intentions before we do something.
Yeah, hold us accountable for that.
Yes, it just like serves as kind of like a North Star, because like when me and Jiggy talk, we kind of go like many different threads.
Right, but our intentions always stay.
And then it comes back though.
Yeah,
no,
it
really
comes back.
You're gonna feel our heart and our energy. I can't with this.
I'm not gonna edit any of this out. I'm just gonna keep it all in, and I hope that anybody listening, whether you're driving or cutting some shit in the kitchen or taking a walk with your dog, that you feel like you're here with us.
Yeah, and that we're not perfect. I guess that's a good thing.
We're definitely not fucking perfect.
Well, editing makes you look like that, you know?
No, fuck that. Fuck that. We're not no Photoshop bitches. Listen, here's what's dope about us.
We just filtered every time.
Here's what's
we just
dope
use
about
filters. We don't use Photoshop, but just a few filters.
Here's what's dope about us. We don't give a fuck. Oh, we talked about this. That at JY & Co. Not just JY & Co, but just the way that we operate together.
As people.
That we don't give a fuck, and that we just really embrace the fucking mentality, and that we can accomplish anything. We can accomplish any fucking thing through the fucking mentality. And we don't really care too much for perfectionism, even though we do. But not at the point of letting perfectionism delay us from making progress. Exactly. So there has to come a point where you say, fuck it, let's just try it. If it doesn't land, we try it a different way. But we not know, like,
good enough. Wait. No?
Let's be honest.
Now we're going.
No. We don't settle for good enough, though. That's the thing. But then again, here's the truth. Okay. Here's the truth. That you and I's best is usually better than the average best. And therefore, our language of good enough is actually somebody else's best. Let's make that very fucking clear.
I see. Okay, so I feel like what I'm hearing from you is like we have like really high standards. Really high standards. And like even when you're at like 70 or 80%, it's still like fucking solid.
Oh yeah, our 70% is like somebody else's.
Like we have a problem with going for past 100.
Yeah,
that's the actual issue.
I think here's another thing, which I'm like venting at this point.
We're recovering.
But
we're recovering A+ers.
I think
that's the problem.
Something that bothers me is that just because we have fun and we like intentionally include fun into what we do, that we might come off like not serious and not professional and not high level and not high performing. But we execute at a pretty fucking high level. And I think I'm personally speaking in terms of like when people try to like slide into my DMs just to think that like talking to me is free. Mm-hmm. Which is not. Just because I'm friendly and funny doesn't mean that like you can just it doesn't mean we're friends. I just want to say that. We're totally off topic about what we wanted to talk about today. Sorry.
No, I think it's like...
I've been waiting for this for a moment.
No, I think it's relevant, right? Like, I think it's like... I think we both come from, like, a background where we feel like you, in order to be taken seriously, you have to be serious, right? But I feel like you've experienced so much, like, and, like, gone through so many life experiences that I feel like it's not just about being serious, right? It's like, how do you inject, like, fun and, like, have fun while you're doing really great things? It doesn't diminish how great something is just because you're having fun, right?
Shit. That's
so,
the podcast.
I love that.
That's the podcast. Shit.
But I think that's great because, like, I think there, and then I think another perception, which is, like, originally why we wanted to do this podcast, is, like, the other perception that's, like, very common is, like, you have to do these things alone.
You did that. you really did that. You really segued into the topic of the day. You fucking did that. Shit. This bitch is brilliant.
That was good.
That was really good. That was really fucking good. Keep going.
But yeah, so I feel like another...
That's what we wanted to talk about today.
Yes. So I feel like another, like, widely misperceptive, wild misconception of, like, running a business and, like, building something really great is that you have to do it alone. And so I feel like this whole podcast, we really want to focus on, like, really honoring people in our lives that, like, helped us get here, you know? Like, I think Jiggy and I are really big on, like, team, like, mentality. Like, I remember, like, when I first met Jiggy, it was, like, I almost said love at first sight. That was so gay. It was definitely friendship at first sight because...
Wait.
Because that's a common phrase.
Let us honor Jamie.
Yes.
And be honest.
Yeah.
It was love at first sight.
Okay, yeah. You know what? You're right.
I really want to say no homo, but, like,
love
is gay.
Yeah.
So.
Jamie, shout out to you.
In a non-romantic way.
Yeah. Yes. But there was like a lot of love, and I think a lot of, like, why I wanted to get closer to Jiggy is I just saw a lot of alignment with, like, our values. So
values.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we really value as two people is, like, not just, like, not leaning into this idea of, like, being self-made, but recognizing, like, that we are here because of people around us, because there's people that supported us, like, through this journey, and like, it's not just a thing that we did alone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I think the time that we met was slowly, but we didn't know at the time, but it was the start of both of our transition phase. Because I think when we met, we kind of did carry that. Can you agree? Yeah. Like, for sure, I used to be like, yes, bitch, yes, confirming. Oh my god, we never assume, guys. Like, I was definitely back in the day, like, one of Andy Frisella's biggest fans. Gary Vee, David Goggins, all of them, where it was like a lone wolf mentality. You have to do everything alone. There's this pride and ego in being self-made, and it was what was sexy and marketable. And to me, that made sense to me at the time, because when I entered my entrepreneurial journey, I definitely felt alone, and I felt like no one could understand me because no friend around me understood what I was trying to accomplish or establish in my life then. And at the time, I was the only homie in the friend group who was listening to podcasts and reading books. Everybody else was still partying and stuff. And one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to move across the country to California was that, to get away from the distractions and just stay focused and stay in your lane and all that shit. So I just, like, moved across the country, and I said I'm gonna get as far away from my friends as possible to chase my dreams and focus. And I said it the other day that this is, like, the first year that I'm really inviting myself into social life, because this entire time I've been in Cali, I didn't do any of it. I didn't go out. All I did was just work and network, and everything was based off of work. And I forgot that even work could be fun. and life can be filled with joy. But yeah, back then, like when we met, I think I envied you and your business partner at the time because I was like, man, it must be dope to have like a business partner.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm also learning now, looking back then, that it is possible to have a business partner and yet still carry the lone wolf mentality and still operate in two different lanes and paths.
Yes. A lot to comment on that.
And so that's why it's so important to align in your values.
Yeah, I think, it's... Some people front, right? Some people front that they're like all about teamwork, right? But you have to really observe like how do people care for each other? How do people like stay in integrity? How are you looking out for each other? And I feel like that's like where, like when the rubber meets the road, is the person you're working with gonna still be there for you? Is it going to be the person before your business versus your business before the person?
Dude, business partners are truly like life partners.
Yeah.
Like we really... Yo, let me address all of y'all who keep saying that we're dating. Okay?
There is a lot of love.
I think that you have to be in love in some form. Like I am in love with our friendship.
Me too.
And I think that you have to be. Not just because like we do business together and we support each other's businesses, but like why would you be in a friendship where you're not in love with it?
Dude, because some people think of the business first. Like that's what it is for some people.
Yo,
but I think I think that's a sad way to live though. It's
all you fucking like lone wolfers and self-maders, you chose that life.
It is
okay. If you're not likable, if people don't like you and they think that you're a Debbie Downer because you choose to be a lone wolf, that's your fault. Don't be out here like, I'm a lone wolf. Nobody will understand me. I'm going to make it to the top of my own and it's lonely at the top.
Dude.
Whose voice is that? I don't know.
You always say it like that. Did you get that from somewhere?
I don't know. I feel like I sound like Bird. Or like Patrick from SpongeBob. Like, who's SpongeBob?
So here's the thing. You know
Circle
what that
back.
made me think? No. One last thought, because like that was actually really relevant. Some people are out here. They say like, "Oh, I keep my circle small," and I was like, "Do you keep your circle small, or you're unable to keep people in your life?" I think that. Dude, I feel fucking savage in here. Like, I literally don't present like this at all. The truth comes out about how sharp I am. No, but seriously,
y'all thought that I was the one? Y'all thought I was the one? She's the queen up in here.
But you know, okay, do you know what I mean, right? Like, I actually think that, like, some people do not have the skills to be able to, like, relate and connect, and that's why they lose people. I don't think it's intentional. I just think people are not equipped.
Yo, but people don't like to admit that they lack skill in something.
Exactly. So the thing is, ego gets in a way. You don't want to admit it. Then you don't end up working on it, and this is how you lose people in your life. Like, this is why you end up at the top alone, if you even end up there.
And this is why books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, you gotta be mad intentional about reading books like that, because like, are you reading that book to really learn how to make friends and connect with people? Because if so, you should join RBCL. But if you're using it for networking purposes and like manipulating people into liking you so that you can sell shit,
I have no words for that one.
Let's take a collective deep breath.
Okay.
The shit that pisses us off.
I actually have
Let's come back to the main.
Okay, but anyway, so now that we're done, like, on that thread, I told you at the beginning. I told you we literally will go through so many different threads, like, once we get started. So,
but somehow
like,
it all makes sense.
No, it's all connected. It's all connected. So, like, if we come back to, like, I guess, like, what I want to know is, like, who, you know, since we're on the topic of, like, friends and, like, supporting and not being there at the top alone, it's, like, who comes to mind first, like, when you think about who supported you in, like, chasing your dreams? And this could be back in like the East Coast too, because I know you started like back then.
It definitely has to be the East Coast because, listen. Oh, first of all, we live in LA, so all that noise out there, that's just authentic. That's just authenticity.
Authentic LA experience.
So for me, the first person that comes to mind is my best friend Gloria. Gloria, tell me how this bitch went to the East Coast without me and met up with Gloria and like hung out at my old high school like without me.
She gave me the whole tour, dude.
I
know exactly where everything
so
happened.
insane. But Gloria, the backstory is that we met in high school. I was a sophomore, she was a freshman. I was the softball team captain because of course I am. I'm a lesbian. I don't know why or how I ended up being attracted to her, but basically, long story short, Gloria was my first girlfriend ever. And we really just worked, after we broke up, we really worked on our friendship to intentionally try to stay friends. I don't know why we had such a desire to stay friends. But annoying. I'm so thankful that I'm so grateful and thankful for like the teenage Gloria and Jiggy, who at the time wasn't even Jiggy yet, to put in that effort to be friends and stay friends because like of all people in my life, she really got seen me through everything. Like, she's known my mom. She's met my mom. She knows what kind of arguments and fights I've gone through with my mom. She knows what a toxic relationship that was. And she was there for me every single time. 2, she was there for me at the funeral. 2, she was there for me the first summer that I went back to Queens without my mom there. And she got me out the house to, like, help me avoid my fucking depression and shit. 2... like, even when I went off to college, I went away for college. She stayed in New York, and we still maintained our friendship. 2, me one day coming and saying, I'm going to quit my full-time job to become a motivational speaker. And she supported me through and through. Oh, here's another shit. Side note. Make sure I come back. Here's another side note. All you fucking entrepreneurs who talk shit about people who work 9 to 5.
Oh.
We would not be where we are without our 9 to 5 friends. Yo, I'm stirring something up again, and I can tell, like, we gotta pin it. We gotta
stay on topic.
Yeah.
We gotta come back to this
Yeah,
one.
we gotta write it down. But when I said I want to quit my job and become a motivational speaker, she supported me through and through. And then a year after that, when I said I want to move to California, I still remember the day. I recorded it. I have it on video, actually, where the day she called me, like, she wants to be my co-signer for the apartment that I wanted to live in California. And I just, like, bawled my eyes out because at the time I was like, man, this is my best friend. Like, she should be selfish enough to want me to stay in the East Coast. But here she is, like, she loves me so much that she's willing to basically, like, sponsor this new adventure that I'm about to go on and co-sign me when I didn't even have a job lined up across the country. And I was moving across the country to chase my dreams. As if I'm an actor, like, who moves across the country to Cali to chase their dreams other than actors and, like, entertainers? Whatever, but here I am. And she supported me, like, through and through. And then, like, even after I moved to Cali and my first, the relationship that I moved across the country with didn't work out and I had to move out and get an apartment of my own, here she is again co-signing for me. Like, the bitch is crazy. And she's provided for me, like, financially, I'm not gonna lie, through certain things that I needed when I didn't have the money. Because, again, you can't make it on your own. And I'm, like, beyond grateful. And I know she always says you don't have to pay me back, but I always do my best in whatever way that I can to pay her back. And I know we're gonna get into this later, but one of my biggest dreams is to be able to provide for my friends. And, like, that's one of my biggest driving factors. And, of course, they're going to do this shit while we're recording the fucking podcast right now. But one of my biggest driving factors is to, like, give back to everybody who's ever given to me, friends or strangers. And especially Gloria, like, I'm ready to pay for her wedding dress. Whoever she marries one day, I'm ready to pay for her wedding dress, her entire wedding, get her a house, like, pay all of her bills, like, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who comes to mind.
Yeah. We're a big Gloria fan club here.
We are. And we really want her to move to San Francisco.
Yeah, I think I was really lucky. I got to meet Gloria through RBTL, and I feel like even then, when you and her were both like when you were facilitating and she was in the program, I feel like your relationship deepened like even further. And so I feel like I as a friend have been really lucky to be able to witness like your guys' relationship like at this point, and just to see like wow, how much history there's been for the last like decade plus, and to see all the different changes that have happened, and see both of you like endure through so much together and like still be able to like be there to support each other. That means you both have evolved, but like ultimately have still like been able to keep in contact, you know. And I think that's like really, really special.
Yeah, I think that a best friend isn't somebody who you gotta talk to every single day.
Exactly.
But whenever you do talk, it seems like it was just yesterday. And as of recent, one of the biggest ways that she showed up for me was like when my dad passed away. And I think I actually talked to her about this recently, that I think one of the epitome moments of our friendship was when I was in Korea, and it was like morning at the time, but for her it was like the evening time in New York. And she called me and we talked, and it was meant to be like a 15-minute phone call, but it turned out to be like an hour and a half. And it was me talking about my dad passing away, but her talking about her recent breakup. And it was crazy to me, like, holy shit, first of all, this is like, we're talking on the phone internationally and like still holding space for each other, and at the same time still have the space to be able to talk about our own pain as well. Like, no matter what we're grieving, whatever loss that we're grieving, we are making space for each other to grieve, as well as being able to grieve ourselves. And that was like one of the biggest moments. And also, like, not to be so intentionally like pluggy about RBTL, but what Steph said is true, in that we had been friends for over a decade, and ever since Gloria took RBTL, like, because we're able to set our intentions with our conversations, we know how to set what kind of boundaries or make whatever kind of requests in order to be supported in whichever way we want to be supported in a conversation. That tremendously helped our relationship get even deeper. And at first I was like, how is this possible? Because we have been friends for over a decade. We've seen each other go through everything. We've supported each other through everything. But it turns out that like active support isn't the only way to connect. It's also like through conversation and really making space, and also like being able to express ourselves in ways that we never have been able to before. And this sounds like a complete plug to RBTL, but why not? It's such a great fucking program. Yeah, it definitely deepened, and that really took me by surprise. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. I love that you all were able to like just expand like what you're able to like speak to, right? And like skillfully be able to like hold space for each other, because there's so much going on. If you think about like a breakup and also like the death, right, of a parent, like it's like those are really like of your dad, it's just like those are really big things to be holding in one space. And so for like you two to like be able to support each other is just, it's such a beautiful thing. I have nothing else to say to that, dude.
Shit. What about you? Who comes to mind for you?
I guess like who comes to mind for me when I think about like who supported me to chase my dreams. I think this is a lesser known person that like most people don't know as much about, but my friend Brian actually was like the first person. I would say like for him, he's the first person that made me like really believe that I was like capable. So like Brian owns we met back in like December 2016, so this is like 6 years ago. Like super randomly I was unemployed. Okay, so this is like this was
8 years ago.
6 years ago.
You said 2016.
16. Yeah.
It's 2022.
Yeah, that's 6 years. No, that's 6
years.
Wait. And today we can't do math. Like,
okay,
this is why.
You know what? I'm just gonna shut up.
This is why we run businesses. We can't do math.
That's why it takes 2 brains to run a business. All right, go on.
So back in like December, this is like 2016 was the year that I was unemployed. So I left my first job, mental health like challenges, and then this is like I think 9 months into this like job search, middle of, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, like, I don't know where I'm headed. And then so I decide, like, I want to be a better speaker. So I decided to join this group called Toastmasters, which works on your speaking skills. I say and like a lot. You know, when I did Toastmasters, when you do Toastmasters, they count how many and likes you say.
I've never wanted to join Toastmasters.
I know.
With white people in suits?
Actually, some groups are like that, but like my group wasn't. My group was pretty diverse. But they count how many and likes you have. Mine was like over 50. So like that's why I got the feedback. I was like, okay, never coming back. No, I still came back. But anyway, I go to Toastmasters and I like in the room, right? Everyone's like a little bit like older. But I see this dude that looks like my age. Like we end up like just saying hi to each other and like connecting, right? Then I was like, okay, like, why is he here? Like, I know I'm here because I'm, like, unemployed. I don't know what the fuck to do with my time. And so he's just like, yeah, like, I run a business. Like, I recently just, like, separated with my business partners. Like, I'm just trying to, like, you know, get to know people and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. So, like, we spent some time just, like, getting to know each other because he lived nearby. And then through our conversations, there's at some point where he was just like, dude, like, you're like meant to build something. Like, I don't know what that like looks like, but like you have the mentality, you have the passion, like everything's there. So like I'm looking forward to the day when you are able to like really take that leap. And I think it meant just a lot to me, like, cause like you like, you know, it's like nothing against like my parents or anything. It's just like, you know, I grew up in a very like more risk averse, right? Like you want to do like the standard thing. You don't want to take too many risks. Like you want to be stable. And so, but I always felt in my heart that I was supposed to be doing something else, supposed to be building something. And so to have someone who was like, you know, 3 years into his business, like it going well, like it moving along, to have him say that to me, I think meant something bigger, because it's like, that's somebody who's done it. Right, like versus somebody who hasn't, which is like, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a different kind of like support, but it meant a lot for him to like express that encouragement. And so, voila, two years later, I quit my job and I built something. So, shout out to Brian, like he's the one that's been there all along. But yeah, and I think he, you know, he's consistently offered his like support. Like he's consistently someone that I can like call if I need to like just like vent about things. And what's really nice about that, and like obviously like now we have that relationship too, is that, you know, being able to like not have to explain certain things, like not having to explain like the risk that is being taken, like even if it's a different industry, which like Brian is in a different industry, in product versus in service, right? Like it's still meaningful to know, like, I don't have to explain, like, this is really scary and this is really hard because I'm putting so much at risk. Like, if you're taking, you know, he understands what it's like to, like, take loans. He understands, like, what it's like to, like, be in debt, you know, like, those types of things, like, risk that nobody really talks about, that, like, is kind of behind closed doors. Like, just being able to talk to somebody who, like, gets that, even if you're not in the same industry, I think has been extremely meaningful, like in this entire like journey up until now. So it's like over like 3.5 years since I took the leap, almost 6 years since I've met him randomly. So yeah,
I think it's like, just like anything, it's helps us feel better about the journey if we find somebody who's going through the same thing at the same time. And at the same time, it's super inspirational when somebody who's like made it a little bit further at this point, and like but has been at where we've been, God gives us hope. It's like, oh, like the struggle, it's normal. It's not just me. I'm not that special. And everybody goes through it, or a lot of people go through it. I can't say everybody goes through it, but a lot of people go through it. And that when you stick to it and believe in it and continue the work, that it'll all work out. And one day we'll be able to get to a point like Brian.
Yeah. He's definitely served as like a beacon of like hope, because I've seen him go through like a lot too. Like, right, like I've also been there for him. Like, when he was going through some shit like with his business and like things weren't working out and like, you know, going through the pandemic together. Like it's like there's just so much there. And so yeah, I just want to like honor his like impact on me because he's just been a big part of this, even though I don't talk about him like all the time. He's been a big support through this entire journey. And like when I think about making it and getting to a certain point, like I think about like, ooh, what are the fun ways that I can like give back to him, you know? So
what are your dreams?
yeah.
I don't know if I know what your dreams are.
I think if like so I got asked this question actually last year. I couldn't figure it out. I think I told you briefly. We had sushi one time. We had sushi like after.
We had sushi many times, but okay.
That's true. I act as if we don't eat together all the time, but it wasn't lamb for sure. It was sushi. So this is like last year. Before we moved. Honestly, like I don't see business as like business. I think freedom comes from like. Freedom is not doing nothing. I think freedom is to choose what you want to do. Mm-hmm. To only choose the things you enjoy. I think that's what freedom is. I think that's like the ultimate goal, like is to be in a financial place where I don't have to do something. I don't have a responsibility to it. I just choose to do it because I enjoy it, I love it, and it impacts people. So when I think about my dream, like my dream is actually to like do things with my best friends, like to like build things with my friends. I think as a person, I'm just naturally a builder. So it's like, that's why I get really excited, like thinking about like helping you out, right? Like it's just, it just brings me joy to be like, oh, I'm supporting my friend's dream. Like I can contribute to that. So when I think of my dreams, it's like, yeah, I want to be able to like, you know, when I have events and stuff, I don't want people to like pay for it. I want people to like just come, just bring your fucking presence, because like that's all I want, right? That's all that has impacted my entire life, and that's all I want. But I also think about like functionally, like in a day-to-day basis, like it would be really fucking fun to like build things with people. Like be like I have friends that like we have just intersecting like business ideas. So like most of like my really close friends are all people that I would actually work with. So yeah, it's to build their dreams too. Yeah.
I think one of the many things that you and I have in common is that we love to be hype women. Like we love to encourage people. We love to like, if we know that we can do something to help somebody's dream come true, we're just gonna fucking do it. Yeah. And yeah, like when it comes to dreams and working with friends, like that's when I think about my dreams, it's not the necessarily like the success of my business as much as it's like whatever success looks like for me and whatever like happiness looks like for me. And when it comes to like doing work with friends, Kaylani just recently came out with like a docuseries where her entire team are her friends. Whether they were friends first and they created a team, or they found this dope person and they joined the team and they're all just like, but she said something really dope in that like she loves her life and she loves her job because it doesn't feel like work, because truly it's like you and your friends just doing what you love doing, like everybody in their own element. And it just so happens that each person in their skill set is what the team needs. So she has friends who are just like directors and producers and videographers and photographers, and then all the musicians, her entire band, her entire like dance crew, like they're all friends. But it just so happens that like each other's dreams actually supports each other's dreams. Yeah. That's fucking dope.
It just like multiplies. Like when everyone's doing the things that they love and you all align in terms of like your values because you're friends. Like, I think it's very skillful to be, like, work with your friends. Yeah. Right? But, like, when everyone's doing what they love, it's like, what the like, that's, like, the recipe for, like, just a fun-ass life.
Yeah. And I know that there are people out there who are just, like, the entrepreneurs who hate on 9-to-5 people. They're like, oh, well, your team is not going to believe in your dreams as much as you do, so you have to believe in it, and you have to be the da-da-da-da-da. And, like,
we circle
you
back.
Have to, yeah. It's always... I will always talk shit about hustle culture, but like there was like, oh, your team's not gonna believe in your dreams as much as you do, and like da 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 da, and therefore you have to be the one who stays alone and do work in the dark and like do work alone in the dark and all that shit. And I'm not like, that's like kind of true in that like I can't expect everybody to believe in my dreams as much as I do, but at the same time sometimes my friends believe in me more than I do myself. And when you have a team full of people with that kind of drive for each other, listen, you can't get, there's that like proverb or whatever it's called where like you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together type of shit. Like, all you lone wolfers and self-maders out there, you're lonely. You're alone because you chose that life. Yeah. And if you're not likable, that's your fault. Go read more of your How to Win Friends and Influence People. Go win some friends.
Instead of attracting them naturally.
Instead of connecting authentically with people.
For the younger Steph and the younger Jiggy that bought into that shit, and we're now changed because we decided different.
I ain't mad.
I'm not either. I'm so freaking happy, dude.
This will be like another podcast episode, but like, young Jiggy did what she had to do in order to survive whatever she had to go through at the time, and I can't be mad at that. However, we have to acknowledge that like the transitions and different chapters of life, it requires different people. Yep. It requires asking for help. What kind of help? Different kind of skills. You know what? Come on. But
say it.
Like I used to look back and be like, man, why the fuck did I buy into that? Or like, why did I believe in that so much? Or like, why was I so angry at the world and just wanted to like revenge on the world? But it's like, because that was honestly the only way that I could get through that point in my life. And and I think I opened up my heart a little more to what's possible in the world. And I started to think like, maybe I don't have to be so lonely. Maybe I don't have to be so alone all the time. Maybe there are people out there who are like-minded and like-hearted. And come on somebody. And that once I started to like tap into, maybe I don't have to do this alone, the more and more I started to tap into that. I mean, it took me years to get to where I am now, but man, like, life is just so much more fun with friends in it. And it's not lonely at the top, because if all of you are successful, if all of you are making it to the top, you can't be lonely. We're at the top having a party.
It's a lot of drinks there. Unlimited drinks, unlimited food.
Okay, I've decided that I can't do that anymore. I recently learned that I can't support a friend's dream if I black out.
Look at this accountability and ownership.
This is like shame in real time right now, guys. Like I called and apologized, but still, she was like, "It's okay, Jiggy," and I'm like, I expect more from myself. But that's another story. But yeah. That's why, like, when I look at hustle culture, I just think, like, my heart kind of breaks for them. I'm, like, sad for them. I'm like, wow, granted, it took me years to get to where I am, but at the same time, like, I'm a recovering hustle addict. But
same.
But those people, like, they're much older than we are, and they are still in it, and they believe it's the only way of life, which, if it serves them and they feel like, here's another funny thing about lone wolfers. Lone wolfers, these lone wolves, gather together to say that they're lone wolves. But at that point...
Are you a pack at that point?
But you're a pack at that point.
But then you won't say you're a pack. So it's like...
It's like that shit where people are like, I do work alone in silence. I'm doing work alone in silence. Hey everybody, I'm doing work alone in silence. It's like, but people who actually do work alone in silence, you don't hear from them because they're doing work in silence.
The irony. Yeah. I had a thought about this topic, but it like floated away.
What time is it? I feel like we can kind of end here.
Yeah, I think this is it.
Let us know how this lands.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
I hope the audio was good. Don't touch this. Don't touch anything.
Change anything about it. Here
just leave it
for the rest of my life.
No touchy. We'll see if Energy and Heart Podcast is the same name next week. We'll see.
But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you so much. Subscribe. Is that how? What platform are we on?
I think we should be in everything.
Oh, you
or
can
Apple
put on
Podcasts and
This
Spotify.
is us live figuring stuff out. So now you know how we function.
We're literally not perfect. All these entrepreneurs who want to look perfect, we don't give a fuck about that shit. Entrepreneurs are not perfect, and I think, oh my god, this is another fucking topic. But entrepreneurs, this whole perception of perfectionism, and we got our shit together and we know exactly what we're doing and we're going after it every single day. It's every day is just pondering. Every day is just contemplating. More questions. Every day is what do you think about? It cannot get more meta than this. It cannot get any more real than this.
Stephanie friend?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you've been here for 2 weeks now.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. You don't have key?
I do. I just don't have it on my car keys.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, thank you so much.
Wait, what the fuck is... Wait, let me do that. Look, how many packages can COVID test? Oh my god. Look how many. For those of you listening, why do you have audio? Why do you have so many?
I literally just got 8 packages of COVID tests.
Why do you have so many? Wait, look how much this. Why do you have so many?
I think I ordered them from my parents, but I think it came here.
But you have.
I guess I could return it.
Don't return it.
No, I just.
We should keep it.
I'm the dealer now.
Yo, we're keeping that. We're keeping this shit. Oh my god.
That's really funny. And with that, tune in next time.
I'm just thinking, what should we name this episode?
The one where she gets 20 of them. Dude, this is
the one where Steph had to take 80 COVID tests. Oh my god. Okay, anyways. Yeah, this is it. Goodbye.